And live now. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the 2020 Virtual TRA Marketplace Kickoff. Really happy to have you here today. My name's Anna. I'm the Chief Revenue and Innovation Officer for the Texas Restaurant Association, and I have some wonderful people with me today too. We have Dr. Emily Williams-Knight, who's our President and CEO for TRA. I also have Joe Monastero, who is the Chief Strategy and Operations Officer, Todd Voorhees, who's our VP of Events, and then we are also lucky to have with us today our TRA Board President, John Gessner, and our TRA EF, which is the Education Foundation Chairwoman, Sharon Van Meter. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We're gonna kick it off right now. I know we're live on Facebook as well. So Emily, take it away.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Really happy to be here today. I thought I would just maybe take a moment. I think what we're going to pull off here over the next 6 days is something that sort of speaks to where industry sits. So if we go back, it was 1937 when TRA Marketplace first formed. And so in 1937 at the Texas State Fair, I think it was about 12 or 14 estimate restaurant owners got together because they wanted to start to advocate for the industry. There was a lot of changes happening in the country, a lot of changes happening in other states, and they wanted an opportunity to come together to create, I guess, really their reality, but also to make sure their industry could grow and could thrive. And so if you think from 1937 until we sit here today, we are sitting in a year that I think all of us, I don't know when you were born, where you might have been, but this is a remarkable time that we're living in. So if we then fast forward from 1937 to March, depending on where you are, I know I've got people coming in from other states, but early March, when we closed dining rooms, that window, this marketplace had always met in person. And it was a time to come together. It was a time to look at either new products, talk about innovation, essentially sometimes talk about the legislative agenda and think about what needed to happen to make sure the industry continued growing. Well, now here we sit. And over the last 5 months, we have been in a battle that has not been replicated before, right? So we've been in a time where we've been trying to step through and make all the adjustments to the industry. As I sit here talking to you today at this marketplace event, we're still at 50% capacity here in Texas. Many states still don't actually have in-room dining open, if you can imagine. And we are at a pivotal point. And so when we went back to sort of June and knew we couldn't have marketplace because the numbers here started to increase, then we said to ourselves, we're going to push it till August because we really want to bring people together. There's never been a more important time to come together, to learn, to network, and frankly, to provide some comfort to one another. And then things didn't get better. And we actually sat as a leadership team and we thought the easiest thing for us to do is to cancel this event because it's so much work to take something that is an in-person event with thousands of people, amazing exhibitors, hundreds of exhibitors, and try to move that online. But as a team, we talked about what we'd sensed was there was never a more important time to have information for people, that we'd learned over these months that we're providing our members real information, timely information, to partner with our legislators, to be really in tune with our exhibitors of what was going to be needed to thrive, that we needed to pull this off. And so somehow, and I say this humbly, over the next 6 days, we are going to have an amazing event, over I think 90 hours of education content, incredible exhibitors who really think about their business when we're hurting, they're hurting, have come together to bring the best information possible to all of you. And through this journey, what I'm really proud of is the way the legislature in Texas and our own governor has partnered with us. You have to understand something about this crisis. We are in a long game. And that long game means what we can do now as an industry, all the waivers we've secured. So think about alcohol to go. I actually drove last night and I picked up some Mexican for the team as we were here at Vivo, a great place. And, I got margaritas to go and they put little flowers on it and tied it with a zip tie and put it in the back of my trunk. And I just thought, we did that. Like, that's really cool, right? But all this has happened with our partnership with Governor Abbott and his team, and I don't want to underestimate that. And listen, I always say this to our members, I'm not naive. I know that right now people are really hurting, but that relationship has been meaningful, and it's going to be meaningful as we go through this next period of a couple of months when we get back to 100% capacity, we get some of those constraints lifted, our numbers here in Texas are getting better, but also as we go into the next session, as we want to solidify all of the work that we've done to make sure that restaurants can keep selling retail items, they can keep doing curbside alcohol, that we get the definition of a restaurant, correct for the first time. all of that is through our relationship with Governor Abbott, the legislature, and his team. And so he couldn't be here this morning, but he did provide us with a video that I just want to share real briefly so you all know that you have support from him as well.
This is Governor Greg Abbott. I want to say thank you to the Texas Restaurant Association for your leadership and for your partnership during these challenging times. The past several months have been challenging for all Texans, and I know the COVID-19 pandemic has had a harsh impact on your industry. But thanks to your input and your innovative ideas, we are able to support our food service industry while also keeping Texans safe. That includes strategies to sell bulk retail items and alcohol to go. It also includes using the best standards to keep employees and customers safe. And we have more work ahead, but together we will mitigate the spread of COVID-19 and we will keep our state on a path toward economic recovery. In your efforts, may God guide you and may He forever bless the great state of Texas.
So I just want to add, did you notice how he smiled a little bit when he talked about alcohol to go? Just saying. So I think that is part of our plan for next session. And so I also want to say, before we move into an introduction of our chairman of the board and our chairwoman of the foundation, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the team first. And so the hours are undeniably long right now. Whether it's the pandemic, you throw a virtual trade show on top of it, and it's just a tremendous amount. But I'm so fortunate to have the team here, and I do wake up many days wondering why I'm so blessed to work with these people. And so you see many of them on the call now, and there's many behind the scenes that are tirelessly knowing that two things: we're going to get through it, and we're going to get through it stronger, and we're not going to stop until we get our restaurants through this period. So coupled with that, we're very fortunate to have a great board of directors. Right now, I think almost 100 strong all across the state. And I have the pleasure of working for John Gessner, who is our chairman of the board, and Sharon Van Meter, who is chairwoman of our foundation. And that foundation, Sharon will talk about, has become critical during the crisis. And as we think about workforce development going forward, will remain just as critical. So I'd like to introduce John Gessner and have him say some opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Usually we would be doing this live. This is probably the first time in the last 15 years that I haven't been able to walk the floors of the show and talk to all of you and see old friends and make new friends. And next year we'll be doing that again. 2020, you can't say anything more about 2020 than's been said. Probably the best thing I've heard is that those of you who made a 5-year plan in 2015, you blew it. This was unforeseen. No one could see what we've done. And so this year has been a series of adaptation and trying to overcome obstacles and trying to figure out how to keep all of us in business. I have to commend Emily and the staff for tremendous work they've done, both at the legislative level and just organizing and supporting our groups. You'll hear more about some of the wonderful things they're doing, such as the Restaurant Relief Fund. But mostly I want you to understand that this opportunity to come together is something that we've worked really hard to put together, and it's an opportunity for us to be together, even in the spaces of our own homes, so that we can share ideas and keep going forward. As the governor said, we will overcome this crisis. And I want to thank all of you for your participation. I want to thank all of you for joining us, and I want to thank all of you for persevering through one of the toughest times in the history of our industry. So again, thank you. And now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce my esteemed colleague, Sharon Van Meter, the chairman of the Texas Restaurant Association Education Foundation. Take it away, Sharon.
Well, aloha, big island of Hawaii. It's 4:40 a.m. here, and my neighbor's roosters just woke up. So in case you hear that in the background, I have to tell you, I am thrilled that we are having this virtual TRA marketplace, because I'm in Hawaii and I can follow along. And I think this is really something that we're going to be seeing a lot of in the future. So I'm so happy that we're on the forefront of this. And I also have to say that with the support of our partners, the TRA team has created 6 incredible days of education for not only our members, but all restaurateurs and hospitality family throughout the country. So kudos to you guys. I mean, that's a big undertaking, and not many teams could pull it together in this short period of time. Well, all I have to say to everybody is stay strong. You know, it's a tough time out there, but the TRA and the TRAEF will be there for you always. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Sharon, for getting up so early. I was hoping we'd hear those roosters too. I hear so much about. Thank you both. And as Sharon mentioned, you know, our sponsors and our exhibitors, incredible people that are on this ride with us, and really grateful. And that allows me to turn it over to Anna, who I don't have enough words to describe how happy I am with the job that she has done. It's extraordinary. And thank you, Anna, for leading this marketplace event, for you and Todd, who I know you introduced, and your leadership. And I'll turn it over to you to talk about the details of this week.
Thank you. Thanks, Emily. And thank you, John and Sharon, for your praise. It's definitely been a group effort, and there are a ton of people behind the scenes that are making this happen. And some of them are sitting in our conference room over there. We've told them they're not allowed to use Wi-Fi for a little while because we're doing this. But the enthusiasm that's coming from the team right now, too, is also really amazing, and testament to also Emily's leadership. So it really is a new day for TRA, and it feels good and weird to be a part, but I know we're going to pull off something interesting today. Interesting for 6 days, yes. I know we're going to dig into this, into how all of this works. I also want to mention, thank you so much to our sponsors who have stuck with us through these crazy ideas. Cisco, Coca-Cola Southwest Beverages, Heartland, thank you for your sponsorship, as well as Benny Keith, Bar Business Magazine, and Catering Magazine too. And then we have multiple states that there's actually too many to name right now that are supporting us too. So thank you guys so much for your support. Okay, so what's going on this week? We have some really cool stuff. We're doing Texas Restaurant Awards. We have Hall of Honor Awards tonight. Everyone's invited. You don't have to be in Texas to be part of this. We're honoring 2 really amazing people this evening, Tracy Vaught and David Cole, for their leadership and their excellence in hospitality tonight. So be sure and join us. That's at 5 p.m. Central. We also have exhibitor brand experiences. This is really important. The team has worked with exhibitors to create categories that you can join in on and see multiple different solutions within one category. So for example, if you're looking for paper products, we have multiple paper companies in one experience session that you can go and watch and get to know the company a little bit more. They have prepared videos for you that you can watch. They're all pretty short. And that's how we're getting you introduced to our exhibitors this year. It's different and unique and never been done before, and our exhibitors have been very patient with us, so I appreciate that. Definitely join in on those. We have a lot of solutions for you. Pack and traction sessions. So we have 10 really amazing TRA Pack Lounge sessions. Pack Lounge is sponsored by Marsh Wortham and Mania Ramirez out of Houston, and it's going to be really amazing. Kelsey, who's new to the team, has put together an amazing lineup that includes Senator Cornyn, it includes Congressman Crenshaw and Congressman Roy. I know I'm not going to be able to name all of them, so I'm sorry, but this is the important thing. In order to be part of the Pack Lounge sessions, you have to be a Pack contributor. If you are not, you still have a little bit of time. We don't have one until a little bit later this morning to kick things off, and there's 10 really amazing ones throughout the week. There's a link in the email that you got this morning that says how to become a Pack contributor, but you can also go to txrestaurant.org and find out more there. The education sessions. Emily's right. We have put together an amazing lineup. I'm going to say it. It's really great. We have everything from ghost and virtual kitchens to redesigning the restaurant of the future, information from marketing experts and PR experts, legal pitfalls you need to know about, delivery, what's going on there. It's truly going to be amazing. And then this on Friday, we actually have Pat Green joining us, a Texas artist, to go over how to do live music at a restaurant during a pandemic. Which I know has never been covered before, except by our friends at BMI. So you should definitely join in for that one. And then not every evening, every other evening, we have something going on called a wine down. You can drink wine or whiskey or bourbon or whatever you want. But that's the idea, is that everyone comes together and sort of reflects on what they learned that day and just checks in on how each other are doing in the industry at the moment. It's really important to be a part of that too, if you can make time. Some of them are later in the evenings to accommodate some of our friends on the West Coast as well. So be sure to join us for that. And then how to do it? How do you get all this amazing content? tramarketplace.com. Up at the top in the navigation bar, you can see education sessions. And from there, you'll see the full lineup Sunday through Friday of all the education and brand experience sessions and PAC sessions that are going on. When you click into there, all you have to do is click that blue join session button and it'll take you right into the session. So I know we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you guys to be part of this. I hope you join in and are patient with us as well. We are living in Zoom every day just like you are, but I think it's going to be truly amazing experience. With that said, I do want to turn it over to my close friend and colleague, Todd Voorhees, who's going to talk a little bit more about what exhibitors should expect and what you should expect from exhibitors this year too.
Thank you, Anna. First of all, I just want to say thank you to this audience and especially to our exhibitor community who has undergone a dramatic change in their business, just like all the restaurants have. And they're out there still innovating and creating products and services that will help your business survive and thrive when we do regain some normalcy. So I want to just talk, first of all, say thank you. Thank you to all the exhibitors that have been patient with us. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for making the virtual marketplace a robust and multi-dimensional experience. And I want to make sure that attendees and exhibitors both know how you can access that content. As Anna mentioned before, tramarketplace.com is your central resource to access all of our content. The education schedules on a banner of its own, but if you want to see where the exhibitor education sessions are, click the attend button, and that will pull up the 2020 virtual exhibitor list. And within that list, you'll be able to see their videos, their contact information, their products and services and solutions that they have for you. That's one great resource. If you'd like to have it in your pocket, and you'd like to be able to take that with you anywhere you go onto the App Store, wherever you get your app, and download TRA Marketplace 2020 virtual app. You will also have access to that same great content. You'll be able to reach out to our exhibitors, start conversations with them, and see where you can schedule a time to be a part of the demonstration sessions and hear what they have to say. We encourage you to participate in these education sessions where you can ask question and answer with representatives that will be in the room with you. And we really think that's going to be a robust education opportunity in of itself. A lot of these organizations are inventing new ways to support you as restaurateurs. So we thank you so much for your participation. And don't forget that these exhibitors are part of the driving force, what Marketplace and how we support this industry. So thank you, exhibitors. We really appreciate you. And now I'll pass it off to Joe Montecero, who is going to talk a little bit about the Texas Relief Fund.
Thank you, Todd. And a huge thank you both to you and to Anna. What you guys have done with your teams is amazing. We're excited for the next 6 days. I think it's a nice break for everyone to just sort of pause and think about, where do we go when this pandemic ends? And a big part of that, as Emily mentioned at the beginning of this video, is getting ready for the legislative session. So again, if you haven't already joined PAC, go and take a look at that. The other thing is to take a look at our legislative brief that's already been put out, the things that we're going to be doing when we go into the legislative session. And a super important part of that is to make sure that our Traction Fund is ready to go for that. So that the two big pieces of fundraising that I want to talk to you about today, first of all, is Traction. That is our fund that helps us to get lobbyists that will work with us in the legislative session. And this year is going to be more imperative than ever before that we have that fund up and running and ready to go. We've already got indication that the State House is not going to work like normal. Most people that are not in the legislature will probably not even be walking physically into the building. So working with these people to get these things done to help you is critical. So if you haven't already, get a chance to go to our advocacy section of the website, take a look at that. Be a part of PAC, be a part of Traction. It's lending your voice to ours to get that job done. The other thing that I want to share with you this morning is an update on the Texas Restaurant Relief Fund. This is something that we are all very proud of. In the second week of the pandemic, we stopped and realized that while a lot of organizations were raising their hands and saying, we know that millions of employees across the country were going to be out of work and we're going to need help, what about the restaurants? When this is over, where do they go back if the restaurants aren't there to take them and employ them? And we are one of only 2 organizations across the country that stepped forward and said, we will put a fund in place to help keep independent restaurants open and operating and be able to bring their employees back and keep them working. In the time that we have had this fund in existence, we have raised $2.5 million. We have given out more than 500 grants to independently owned restaurants. Working with them, we have fed more than 100,000 first responders across medical, police, and fire. as part of our Restaurants Respond program, which is something that has happened anytime that there is a crisis in Texas. Restaurants are always right there with first responders on the front line, helping their communities. This has happened in 214 of the 254 counties across the state. It's involved more than 750 contributors. And yet we're only a quarter of the way to our goal. We had assessed that we needed about $10 million to really be able to help the independents and minimize the number that will close during this pandemic. Our early estimates were it could look like 20, maybe 30%. Those revised estimates today, unfortunately, are higher. It could easily be 30 to 50% if we don't do something to help them today. And so what does that mean for you? Many of you are those independents. And so this week is for you. It's education to help you think about your business models, how to think about the future, how to shore up and sort of future-proof your business. Should this ever happen again, God forbid. So there's a couple of things you can do to help because this does come back to you. I know many of the grant recipients are here attending this week. One is spread the word. You know someone, your customers are either people who might be able to help the fund or know someone who knows someone in large corporations. Get the information to them. You can go to our website, to the Relief Fund landing page, and there's a whole prospectus there that you can share. The other is for those of you who are either exhibitors or members of corporate or from other states who've been having a good time of it, either because of drive-through or other circumstances, maybe not hurting as much, but can help your independent restaurants in your communities, donate. We've decided for this week, since this has been free for all of you, we'll have a marketplace tip jar for this week. So if you have, whether it's $1, $10, or $100 throughout the week, give if you can. It's super simple to do. You text TRRF to 31996, and we will keep track and show at the end of the week what we've raised specifically during Marketplace to go towards the fund. But we will continue to do our fundraising efforts for this and continue to help those independent restaurants who so desperately need this throughout the pandemic. So thank you to all who've supported already and to all of you who will help us as we continue to move forward. And with that, I'll pass it back to Emily for a very special announcement.
Yeah, great. Thank you. And that relief fund, if you think about $2.5 million going just to independent restaurants, if you ask me who I was the most worried about when I wake up in the middle of the night, it's our independents. And it could be through just seeing the data on the independents. It could be that Congress did not come to terms, as we know. My frustration around that before they went home for their long vacation, which, yeah, I won't, it's the start of the week, I'll just be quiet. But I think, most importantly is we've got to get the independents through. I mean, just waking up and going to a little, coffee shop and then a Thai shop for lunch and a special restaurant for dinner that has, 6 or 7 tables, that is someone who's trained for years in France, for example. I mean, some of these independents, they're just amazing, and I can't imagine losing them. And so if again, it's really if you know someone or a company that wants to help, we've got to get them through this really hard period. So Joe, thank you for your leadership on the fund and to the foundation board, because it's, I think it's really the right thing to do. And I just love when we can get those letters back from people who've gotten a grant, and it's just made a difference. So thank you. And then I think the next is a pretty cool thing. So if you didn't think there was enough going on, which seems to be the theme of this team, when I came in about a year ago, they were working on a branding project. And I remember going, whoa, like I didn't even know which was the way it was up. And I was like, we need to pause. I don't even know what our logo is yet. And then it kind of went by the wayside, right? There was so much going on, especially in a transition year. And so quietly, Anna and Joe had been meeting and talking about the fact that, we really needed to rebrand. And then this sort of pandemic hits. And it was such a great reminder of sort of not only the relevance and importance of TRA and its history and how much had been accomplished, but how important it was to continue to build on that and go forward and to do a refresh. So in the middle of all of this and working with Liz Berry, and I'll have Anna specifically call her out, but one of our board members, we've completely rebranded TRA. And so we're actually going to launch that to all of you today. And I'll have Anna actually walk you through. And a huge thanks to Liz and obviously to Anna and Joe, who maybe Anna will tell you how they came up with this, but it's pretty remarkable on top of it. And I know you're going to like it because I absolutely love it, which makes me happy.
I'm so glad you love it. And it's been a really good reaction from a lot of people too. We actually have a video that I want to share with you guys first before I talk a little bit more about the logo itself. But yes, many thanks to Liz for putting this together. I think it's stunning. Okay, here we go.
more than 80 years, the Texas Restaurant Association has been the voice of the restaurant industry in the Lone Star State, working tirelessly to ensure food and beverage service establishments of all types are positioned for success.
Our history of success and strength comes from you, our members. We are more powerful together. You lend your voice to ours, and when it is needed, that voice is heard loud and clear.
The world challenges us today in ways we never could have imagined. To survive, we have to be nimble, innovative, and evolve with grit. Today's TRA is evolving alongside you.
With the spirit of hospitality in our hearts, we take our collective voice and turn it to a thunderous roar that cannot be ignored. We are here fighting for you.
We're proud to introduce today our new branding to the world, modern, agile, and strong. To reflect the diverse cuisines of Texas's restaurant industry are the crossed two-pronged fork and chef's knife, and to show our state pride, the ever-present Lone Star.
This branding will represent a unity of purpose throughout the association, including our Education Foundation, Marketplace, and the 23 local chapters that make up the Texas Restaurant Association.
TRA continues to lead the way in communication, advocacy, and innovation during these unprecedented times, directing a light on the path towards our industry's future.
Learn more at txrestaurant.org/We Are Your Voice.
Isn't it great? Oh my gosh. Okay. It just makes me so excited. And here is what it looks like all together. So as you know, TRA is not just TRA. We have multiple different brands underneath us and a part of us, and that includes Education Foundation. And so they're keeping their red Marketplace, which is represented very, very colorfully, as you can see by the border on this PowerPoint, and also the background for Emily and Joe. Everything kind of matches that way. And then all of the different chapters are also getting their own iteration. So you can see that reflected with the Greater Austin chapter. And then of course, what started it all, where we first used it, was the Texas Restaurant Promise certification program. And I think it was Emily who saw that logo and she was like, oh, I really like that. And I think it was before we had even shown her the new like TRA logo. And we're like, oh, well, good, I'm glad you like it. You're gonna see a lot more of it real soon. But this is it, and it is just a beautiful, beautiful slate of logos. We're so excited about it. Yes, we will be bringing you some swag that you can order from TRA, officially branded TRA swag. Don't go anywhere else. This is the place to order it, and you'll be able to order this. We are going to be rolling out new decals next year as well, so that you'll have those reflected on your restaurant doors or windows, wherever you want to put them. But we're really pumped, and many, many thanks to Liz Berry, who does Liz Berry Creative. If ever you need a logo redesign or just want to talk with someone about issues you're having to express your brand in a design format, she is the best person to speak with. And she is one of our Education Foundation board members. So Liz, thank you again from all of us. Emily?
Great. So I think the adventure begins. We are going to sign off for now. We'll be back. I think there's a couple very cool sessions today. There's a session that, Anna, do you want to mention real briefly, the women's session?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So at 1 o'clock today, we're doing a fireside chat with Emily and a couple of representatives from the Texas Conference for Women. And we have a very cool announcement. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. We're going to be rolling out a program where we're highlighting women-owned restaurants in the state of Texas and also giving them micro grants from the Texas Conference for Women through a partnership with the Texas Restaurant Relief Fund. It's going to be an amazing conversation, very raw and gritty, as Emily likes to say, full of grit. So definitely join us for that one at 1 p.m. today Central.
Yeah, and then also Kelsey just posted for our PAC, and you can certainly go contribute right now, little, a lot, whatever you're able to do, the PAC session to join. But we've got actually Representative Guerin and Lance Livey from the Package Store Association, and we're actually going to talk through alcohol and what the next session might look like. And for so many of you, curbside to go, mixed drinks to go, that has been a game changer. And for a lot of us, right, it's been a survival and a great source of revenue during a really challenging time. And so our goal is to make sure that we solidify that legislatively in the next session, which is just a couple months from now. So that's going to be a great talk as well. And there's also one I know on restaurant design. This is something that's continuing to come up, right? Is what does the future of a restaurant look like? Are we going to have these massive square footage buildings, or what kind of how do dark kitchens and ghost kitchens and contactless, all that fit in? And there's a great panel on that today as well. So, and then of course, join us tonight for the awards ceremony, and please dial in. grab a drink, and celebrate two incredible people that we would love to have our arms around tonight on a stage. Usually we do with hundreds and hundreds of people celebrating. We can't do that. So the more we can get to come online and really let them just share their thoughts and their journey. And there's some great videos that Anna and the team put together. So it's Sunday. You don't have anything else to do, right? You could go do yard work or chores or tune into Marketplace. So, you know, if you ask my husband, he'd be here all day. So thank you guys.
Don't forget to bring your cocktail with you tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, bring your cocktail, and thank you. And let's go to the first ever virtual TRA Marketplace. Thank you guys. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. See you there.